From OrthoLA is Dr. David Elias. David always gives us, right on the mark of information when something happens to a player, to rehab, how long it'll take. Dave, thanks so much for coming on a kind of short notice with you. But I remember you always telling me an ACL injury, that's basically 11-month rehab. Now, we don't know the other part of something being wrong with the knee, but I always remember you saying ACL, that's basically a 1 year, you're not going to come back.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we used to get I've been doing this close to 20 years now, over 20 with residency, and, we used to try to get people back, tell them 6 to 9 months, and we were seeing a lot of recurrent injuries, so that what we realized is that the knee is just not ready. It's not rehab to go back to that level. And typically now, I'll tell even my Nichols athletes, it's 9 to 12-month recovery. Now, a lot of that has to do with, the type of rehab you're getting. And, of course, a professional athlete, this is their job to recover. So if anybody's going to come back before 12 months, it's going to be a professional athlete.
Or Taysom Hill.
Especially Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that because if you look at it, he's off the chart how strong he is in all his body parts, from head to toe. I mean, he's an alpha. I mean, he's like off the chart. How are you going to chart him, how strong he is in the weight room, and what he actually can accomplish? So, you have different workouts for different positions. Here's the defensive backs, offensive line. Well, Taysom Hill, that's why I wouldn't bet against Taysom Hill. Now, I don't know how you compensate him in the future, but, I don't think Taysom Hill's giving up the ghost because he has a bunch of kids. He wants to provide for his family. And, you got to get to the I wish I would have milked it, right? Instead of my elbow was all shot and that play an extra year. And that
you could have went to the Panthers. They'd have hated you there too.
Just keep playing until they kick you out. And I think Taysom Hill might do that because I think he wants what's best for his family. So people think like, Taysom Hill is going to fade off into the sunset.
No.
I don't think he's that type of player.
Doc, you've worked with a lot of professional athletes, and their work ethic, a lot of times, that's a lot different than the normal human because they understand what's at stake. They're not going to get paid like this in the real world. Bobby always has the best comment. The real world sucks when you talk about getting paid. You get paid to be a professional athlete. That's why these guys really push the envelope on how quickly they can come back from these serious injuries.
Yeah, I mean, with an ACL injury, typically 50% of the time you're also injuring another structure in the knee, whether it be the meniscus, whether you chip off a piece of cartilage or you tear another ligament. So that can also have a difference in your outcome. If it's an isolated ACL tear is way better than an ACL tear with an MCL tear and a meniscus tear along with it. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But there's no doubt that he's going into this injury in better shape than 99% of the people who tear their ACL. So that will definitely help his recovery. When you tear your ACL, though, you get it's a big hit to your body. His quads are going to atrophy from surgery, from being off of it. If he has other injuries, he might be non-weight bearing for a short period of time after surgery. And then, when you recover, you have to steal from Peter to pay Paul. So you don't just repair the ACL. You have to now go make him a new ACL. So they'll probably use his patella tendon or his quad. So you get a little bit of morbidity from that too. So the recovery is, there's a lot to recover from. And, your nerves that in the knee that help with balance, help with agility, all of that has to you have to re-educate that. So being strong helps, but there's other factors that go into it. And I wouldn't have any doubt that by next season he's going to be at fall camp, and I think he'll probably, if he's not quite ready at the beginning of the year, I think he'll be close. You look at Joe Burrow. He tore his ACL, and he had a multi-ligament injury. He had meniscus. I was pretty shocked that he made it back as quick as he did. I always said he won't be back till the end of that year and won't be performing well till the second year. And he proved most of the people wrong with that. You also look at Adrian Peterson. He tore his ACL, and his very next year he was a few yards short of breaking the all-time record. So I think that's what category I would put this injury for Taysom Hill. I think he'll be back next year, and I don't think this is a career-ending injury for him. And like you guys said, the shape that he's in going into this injury is going to definitely help him recover from this injury.
When you even look at Passanio, Tano, he had the Achilles, and Mike, how he's come back. That's why you can't look at normal society versus a professional athlete in the NFL, and then how you recover. Now, you got to have the right mindset. You got to have the right work ethic to be able to come back, and I think Taysom Hill will definitely have that. Now, I would bank more on Taysom Hill being ready to roll in the future than Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu, I'm looking at him now. There's different injuries. You got Taysom Hill with his knee, and then you got Honey Badger injured his right shoulder, making a tackle, and Ryan's with the running back Kyron Williams, and you can see. Now, I just think where they're at, and I'm not saying Honey Badger couldn't come back, but I would, if I'm going to bet, I would bet more Taysom Hill coming back than Honey Badger from. Now, it's different injuries, the knee and a shoulder, but when you look at it, when you get 34, 35 years of age, that's an old football player. It's not old in life, but it's an old professional football player. I just think Taysom, like you said, how he's trained and where he's at, I still think he's going to contribute in the future.
Doc, the other thing I was going to ask you, I think I know the answer to this. Had this happened to a 25-year-old instead of a 34 and going to be a 35-year-old, would the process be a little quicker for the 25 than the 35?
And like Mike's saying, let me tell you right now, okay, Nick Saldiveri, we want him to do something. He left the game with a knee injury. Who do you trust, Taysom Hill or Nick Saldiveri?
I got my money on Taysom.
Yes. I mean, I don't care. He might be 10 years younger or whatever. You have to look at the mind of the individual you're dealing with also.
Doctor, age of someone. I know you had told me that's really not a big difference. More of his training.
In this athlete, it's not a difference. Like he's in good a shape now as he probably was 10 years ago, if not better. So I don't think it makes a difference for him. For the average person, the 25-year-old might do better mentally and physically than someone closer to 40, for sure.
Doc,
not for him.
But for the rehab to start, would that be more of an aquatic type deal where they put him in the water to try to get some of the strength back? Because, I mean, you can't stand or you can't really do anything on a treadmill or anything else. The first thing would certainly, to me, seem as though it would be an aquatic deal that he'd be in water.
I mean, they're going to use every modality they have for him. If he has to have any kind of meniscal work and is going to be non-weight bearing for, say, the first 6 weeks of his rehab, we have modalities. There's not a new thing, but a pretty popular modality called blood flow restriction, where you put a blood pressure cuff on your thigh, and it allows you to do exercises and keep your muscle tone up while you don't have to put weight on it. So instead of having him go in there and do squats, which he can't do for 6 weeks, they're going to be able to just sit there and let him do non-weight bearing exercises with this blood pressure cuff on him, and it restricts the blood flow and kind of helps the muscle keep its tone while it's in a non-weight bearing state. So, and aquatics is great too, because it does the same thing. You're able to eliminate gravity in the water, so you're not putting weight on the recovered knee, but you're allowed to still work your muscles out. So I would think they're going to do, he's going to be in a pool probably daily. He's going to be doing the blood flow restriction and probably some other stuff too.